Figured out how I'm going to die.
Your heart's probably going to stop.
No, before that.
Oh.
Yeah.
What brings on the heart stopping?
No, it's unrelated
High
to...
blood pressure?
I don't have high blood pressure.
You have cancer in your family?
So when I drive here, because we live so close together, I don't put my seatbelt on. Very irresponsible. And they say most accidents occur closest to home. So I think that's how I'm going to die. I'm just not going to put my seatbelt on, get into a horrible car accident, and I'm going to be on the 6 o'clock news.
Very dumb way to die. I could see that.
Yeah, it'll be terrible. Coming,
Can't even feel sad at your wake.
All excited to do a podcast or whatever we're reviewing, and all of a sudden, boom. And they're going to say, if you only had a seatbelt on. And I'm going to know that, but it's like a 2-minute drive.
I want my... there tight as he goes down.
I've said this before. I want my funeral to be fucking lit.
You want it to be popping?
I want like a sad, like, it's going to be sad, but like the after party is going to be popping. You ever see like that video of the Irish people singing Mr. Brightside?
No.
At the funeral, and they're all going crazy? I want that to happen.
Well, they do that in some cultures where they party instead of being all depressed. Sometimes they dress up the corpse, and he's there at the party. I've seen that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a...
Just chilling.
Yeah. Like a Weekend at Bernie situation?
Yeah. Except, no, he's pretty much dead.
Oh.
I don't even try to fake it. Maybe for grandma, right? That'd be funny.
I want that.
He's back. No, we're just kidding.
It's like the Undertaker music comes out. Just come up from the casket.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Tube Podcast. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron, the Nerd Tube Monkey. It's just a two-man pod today because Ted does, in fact, have COVID. So he's been responsibly quarantining at home, not watching any of the movies and shows that I recommend, or working on his polls on Twitter. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I feel like when Ted is sick, he has to lock down. It's like Zeke in Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
It's a shame because he usually makes the outline for the stories that we talk about, usually movies, TV, and video games. But yeah, no Ted, no outline.
If anyone has the fingers on the pulse of movie news, it's Teddy.
It is Teddy, yeah. They say he's like the Oprah of movie news.
Who said that? Teddy?
I think Teddy, yeah. Ted's mom. Aaron, how are you doing? Follow us on Twitter. Listen, podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google. If you're listening at this point, you know where to find a podcast. Everyone knows where podcasts are. They're only on like 4 places.
What if it's someone new?
Hello and welcome.
Please come back again.
Please subscribe, yeah. Share with your friends. Follow me on Letterboxd.
I've been doing well.
Bo Soup. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's we watched Kong vs. Godzilla last night. You want to talk about that a little?
Not really.
I'm surprised.
What did you think?
I thought it was terrible. I'm surprised it's getting like the reception it is. It was bad.
Yeah, I think it's not the first time in a long time, but first time I can remember recently of both of us coming out of a movie and thinking it was just bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've agreed that much on a movie. I can't remember when, but yeah, no, I thought it was pretty terrible, and I'm surprised by that too, because a lot of the positive reviews are, of course, the human characters are terrible, but the fights are great and the visual effects are stunning. But that wasn't enough for me.
No,
not this time around. And I think rewatching all the previous movies, maybe I'm just sick of it because it's the same problems in every movie.
The human characters weren't even like.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, they were fucking awful, terrible. I was very disappointed. You can honestly just skip to the last fight scene and enjoy the movie.
You really can.
That's like if I ever rewatch a movie, I'm just gonna do that.
I was very interested. I mean, no spoilers, but there was some mythology there that I was interested in. But yeah, it's just you can't get like a group of 10 people in a room together and say, okay, these characters don't have to be great, but let's make them funny. Let's make them charming. Let's make them warm. Let's give them a narrative that's not super complex, but is congruous and gets to point A, point B, point C in a fashion that's at the very least tolerable.
Yeah.
Because it was
terrific cast.
We were moaning and groaning in between the fights.
Yeah.
Like you can't stand it anymore.
Terrific cast. They just had nothing to do.
And the jokes were it's so unfunny that it's funny, but
the only like redeeming qualities,
offensive.
It's Godzilla, King Kong, and Eliza Gonzalez.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, she was fantastic. Yeah. That's the human character. Bring her back.
Yeah.
There's more development there that she definitely needs. Yeah, your point about how you're surprised by how many people, I think people at this point, they just don't care as long as the big monsters are there, right?
Yeah. Monkey and lizard.
A lot of people, I think, had fun with it in IMAX as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good first movie to watch. Get back into theaters. I might go watch it in IMAX. I talked all that shit about how I'm definitely going to watch it in IMAX. Threw it on the TV.
I watched Mulholland Drive before coming here to watch it.
What a double feature.
Yes, it's a very great. I had to keep myself in check.
That's funny. Yeah, you just gotta. You don't want to be too dumbed down by the end of it, To build up your IQ to a point where you're chin scratching.
Well, that's perfect. I've seen that movie so many times, and it's one of my favorites. But it's still.
Did you just hear that?
Yeah.
Somebody just got mauled. Go ahead.
But it's still like it always just like puts my brain on pause for like a couple of days. So
right.
Kong vs. Godzilla was a nice little perfect movie to kind of.
Yeah, it's a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
So it was disappointing for us, but I mean, I'm happy that people are enjoying it, right?
Yeah, no, good. I
don't know where you go from here.
Look, I'm not going to say anyone's wrong if they enjoyed it because there's some enjoyable aspects to it, but it just wasn't enough for me.
Yeah. Well, anything else any other movies or shows that you've been watching? We got an Invincible review coming up probably tomorrow.
Yeah, after the episode drops today, if you're listening to the podcast now. I've been watching Schitt's Creek. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, all the funny people in my life are pushing that on me.
Criminal Minds, that's always just a staple.
Fucking Christ, stop with that show.
I can't.
It's a disease.
I feel like I could be an FBI profiler.
No, you can't.
I'll profile you right now.
All right, go ahead. You smoked today. You're high right now.
They do this thing like every time. Like,
did you like Invincible?
Yes, I love Invincible.
All right, well,
but Criminal Minds,
give me your Criminal Minds.
They do this cold open. They do it all the time. At least every other episode, there's a cold opening where someone's like creeping around and somber music plays, like something bad's gonna happen. And it's like a fake out. It's like a cat that jumps out, but then they get killed.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so they fake you out, then they do it.
Pull out the rug
every
and
time.
then pull out the fucking machine gun. Yeah, Invincible was good.
It's really good.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it up until this point, we won't spoil anything. But oh my god, the end of episode 1.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, man.
What a scene! Yeah, it's been sticking in my brain.
You told me Cam said it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, my cousin Cam, who's very thrilled to see that there was a black Batman.
Yeah,
because Cam is black, and he was like, I connected with that character. Well, let's go on to the first story here. You want to pick the story? From the old topic list? What do you want to talk about? What's the title? Here you go. You got the title.
Kong vs. Godzilla review?
No, that's going to be probably Tuesday's pod because we got to get Nash on that. Nash is watching.
Let's see.
Did
you give him your HBO Max? I didn't.
Yeah,
he
I did.
Me.
Yeah. Just texted him my provider as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Good for you.
I'm a good friend. I told him, I was like, you better not make a profile, though.
Yeah.
We got 6 profiles on that bitch.
Yeah.
Can have a Nash profile.
I'm second on that profile.
Yeah, no, I think, no, yeah.
You ever hop on and see what I'm watching?
No, I used to do that for people years ago when I would share it with them. Like, what is Vicky watching, just so I can judge her? I'm just too lazy to care about anybody else these days, even to get one up on them.
I watched King's Speech again recently.
Oh, nice.
Good movie. I like that. Colin Firth.
I'll tell you what, Jeffrey Rush may be better in that movie than Colin Firth. That's my take.
That's not a terrible take.
It's not a terrible take.
But
I was so disappointed when he didn't win Best Supporting.
Who won that year? 2010? 2009?
I don't remember who won it.
Christoph Waltz. If it was 2009, it's Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, I think it was Christoph Waltz.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup there.
Anyway, what story has the most oomph? George R.R. Martin. We got some Obi-Wan. We got some Rian Johnson. Everyone's favorite director.
Knives Out. Yeah, we got to start with Knives Out.
Really? That's not a good title, though.
Knives Out 2 and 3.
George R.R. Martin. That's the title. That's what people are going to come to see.
All right, George R.R. Martin signs a deal with HBO. I can work with that.
Well, and also there's a Broadway show coming, so it's a little 5 years, 8 figures for George.
5 years, 8 figures, and the deal is to develop prequels and spin-offs taking place in the Game of Thrones universe, right? So he is going to be a creator, I think, right? He's a co-creator on the House of the Dragon show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually credited. He wasn't credited as a co-creator on Game of Thrones. So, I mean, you imagine that his involvement will be similar in these projects to Game of Thrones, where he would write an episode a season and he would consult, but he may have more influence over these shows if the title is co-creator for some of the projects and obviously EP for the others.
Yeah, some of the rumors is working title 10,000 Ships following Nymeria, the warrior queen.
Right.
One will follow the Sea Snake, spin-off of House of the Dragon. Duncan Egg.
That's a character that we're already getting in the House of the Dragon.
Yes, Corlys Valerian. So, yeah.
Duncan Egg, you said, right?
We're never getting the books.
Well, I think that regardless of this deal, we're probably not getting the books. We're not getting the last one. Dream of Spring is...
A Dream of Spring.
That is going to be a dream. Maybe one day somebody else finishes it. I don't think it's going to be George R.R. Martin, and I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm just being objective.
Who are the people who help him a lot? Elio and...
They run the website?
Yes.
Yeah. And they help him with all the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The expanded universe.
They help him write A World of Ice and Fire.
I think his writing style, you're not reading those books for the prose. That's the thing. As long as you have the narrative where you know where the story is going. But that's a different conversation. That's the first thing that comes to people's heads, right? When they see this news. I guess the books are never coming.
Yeah.
Give me the damn books. And the play is, it's going to be the tourney of Harrenhal.
Yeah. I'm going to go see that.
Very fascinating because that's such an important moment for the main story. That's where a lot of the wheels get turning, where the Targaryen dynasty is about to fall. Baratheon is coming for that throne, and that's the event that really starts it.
Yeah, I'd see that.
So that's you get some interesting canon stuff there.
You think they'll do like a Hamilton deal where it streams on HBO Max?
Maybe eventually. Maybe, it runs on Broadway for a year or two, and then they bring it to HBO Max for people that don't live in New York.
They should get Lin-Manuel to do it.
No, fuck no.
Tourney of Harrenhal. I'm
Got
about to ball.
Scaring y'all.
Oh, shit. Rhaegar just took your bitch.
He's Rhaegar.
I don't know. He could play anybody.
No, he can't. He just played Lin-Manuel.
Yeah, he really is the worst part in Hamilton. Game of Thrones. I'm feeling like Sherlock Holmes. Wait, that reference doesn't make sense in this world.
All right, yeah, no. Young Ned, young Brandon, young Benjen.
Lyanna.
All the start. Yeah, and Lyanna. I was going to say Lyanna Mormont.
Howland Reed, depending on some certain theories.
Well, no, he's.
Oh yeah, he is
definitely.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Depending.
Lyanna.
Right. That's the thing with the canon stuff. There, if they show us that the Knight of the Laughing Tree was Lyanna, that's huge for the books.
Yeah.
Because that's just speculation at this point, conspiracy. So yeah.
I need the laughing tree. Everyone keeps laughing at me. I'm Howland Reed.
All right, can you cool it? I'm not gonna go with you to see this play if you keep rapping. You're gonna be rapping in the fucking crowd the entire time. You're gonna get kicked out.
I'm
Oberyn.
actually... What?
Oberyn Martell will be there.
I want to see Barristan.
Not young Barristan, but younger.
I feel like he's always old. He's like Larry David.
He really is. He's been 60 for the past 30 years.
As far as these spin-offs, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, I want to wait for the House of the Dragon to see the quality and kind of the reception of that, because I'm hoping that revitalizes the Game of Thrones fandom, and that would make me more excited for these other spin-offs. But if it doesn't have that effect and we're kind of still at the same place, then that would be very disappointing.
I think Game of Thrones is something we are going to be living with for a very long time, because even if one of these spin-offs doesn't reach the heights of the original Game of Thrones, it's still going to be popular. And we see it with other franchises that never have phenomenons like Game of Thrones, but they'll keep pumping out spin-off shows and movies and comics, and I think this is something we are going to be living with for a long time. So I'm also very optimistic that the House of the Dragon is going to be a good show because of what we've heard about the budget going to be similar to the final season of Game of Thrones for their earlier seasons. When you look at so many shows these days, man, just watching The Expanse and seeing how good it looks, that's something that it's almost like a guarantee that you know the House of the Dragon is going to look spectacular. And the attention to detail that they always pay to the costumes and settings and making sure that things are accurate when it comes to just the overall design of the world, that's going to be there. It's going to be how they execute the story, and can they bring this complicated story to life in a way that's accessible to mass audiences. That's very difficult. I don't think any show is going to reach that for a long time. But hey, maybe, like you said, this will re-energize the fandom because, boy, you do have a lot of kind of dormant fans, right?
Yeah.
It's just like people waiting.
I know.
To be awakened.
How can I survive in this House of the Dragon? How can I climb to the top with my feet dragging?
My feet dragging, money lagging. I'm Ned Stark, but I look like Bilbo Baggins.
I miss the Hobbits. That was the original White Boy Summer.
Yes, it was. Yeah, you could say that again. Not a girl in sight.
Can we talk about Chet Hanks? He fascinates me.
Somebody put it as, if Tom Hanks is America's dad, then Chet Hanks is definitely America. It's like, that is perfect.
Oh, man.
The best thing is that he gets... Like, he was canceled over him doing the Jamaican accent, but he still just incorporates it from time to time. Just doesn't care.
He's a very fascinating character.
It's like we've all, instead of trying to cancel him...
I want to go to Thanksgiving with him.
Yeah, right.
I feel like Chet, Colin, and Tom is just a interesting trio.
If Cousin Chet doesn't show up to the family party, you know it's going to be dull.
Yeah.
He's the guy there that you need him for game night.
Yeah. I want to do cocaine in the bathroom and come out after dinner with him.
Yeah, I want that guy to give me the time of my life. Just me, Chet, whatever the word.
But I don't want to hang out with him. I want to hang out with him just to see what it's like to hang out with him. Not because I want to be friends with him.
But you're going to have to hang out with him the next morning when you're all hungover. That's going to suck. Because he's still going to be about it. You know? Like, you're going to be all fucked up, and he's going to want, like, yo, you want to go water skiing and shit, you know?
No, Chet Hanks. I'll only call him Chet Hanks. I won't call him Chet.
He's got the Hanks jet, too.
Chet Hanks.
That's how he... Chet Hanks, yeah. Anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, he has a
family jet.
rich family, so I'll just, use him for that. Probably a good wingman.
That's what I'm saying, yes. Yeah. Chet Hanks would be like the show Queer Eye. Mm-hmm. They needed to make that show, but it's Chet Hanks.
It'll probably attract a few girls to him, and then I'll be like, I'm just Chet Hanks' friend, and that's pretty cool.
He's such a personality that
I don't have to be on my game.
Exactly, right.
I could just live off of Chet Hanks'
trickle down economic
fame,
clout.
Tom Hanks' son. I'm Tom Hanks' son friend.
You know who I want to see cast in the Knives Out 2 and 3? Chet Hanks. I think that's your villain.
I just want him to be a dead body, though. No lines.
Right. No, one line, though. Like, he wakes up quick, I'm Chet Hanks. And then he's just still dead. Look at this. Knives Out 2 and 3. This is big news. I was stunned when I saw this.
400 million.
450 million, they're saying.
Damn.
Some news outlets that, Netflix is buying the rights to Knives Out 2 and 3. They're going to produce them. And Rian Johnson is set to return, as is Daniel Craig. Rian Johnson will be, of course, writing and directing, and Daniel Craig will be starring as, I want to call him Matt LeBlanc, but I know that's the actor who plays Joey in Friends.
And Joey. What a terrible idea for a spinoff. I love Knives
Chandler
Out.
spinoff would have been way more fascinating. Talk about a personal life.
Yeah. Matthew Perry is actually going to be in a movie.
Knives Out too?
Is he?
I hope so.
I forget what movie. I think it's the Scorsese movie. I mean, I really like Knives Out, and I think it's something. It's the perfect lane for Rian Johnson. Regardless of what you think of The Last Jedi, I think most people can agree that this is a very enjoyable movie and more of his. It suits his style a lot better.
Him directing The Last Jedi was the best thing that he ever did for his career. That movie coming out being so controversial, it put his name everywhere. It made him a household name almost as a director. He's kind of ascended to that point, right? Where he's like a Tarantino or a Scorsese. It's Rian Johnson's Knives Out. And like you said, this is the perfect lane. It's also a perfect lane for a franchise. Mm-hmm. People love, detective stories. You can look at you watching Criminal Minds. How many fucking seasons of that? You can make Knives Out 2, 4, 7, 9, 15. It's similar to the Agatha Christie novels, and there's like a bajillion of those. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. People loved it. People love the original movie, and it's fun with all of us speculating on who's going to be cast in the next one, right? Yeah. Because the first one had such a great cast, and so this is like a no-brainer for Netflix.
This case has my mind intrigued. I need to find the right speed to get these knives out of me. Lin-Manuel's not writing this?
No, Lin-Manuel won't. Thank God.
Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be 2 movies, not on Broadway. Actually, no, George R.R. Martin's writing them.
Oh, we'll see that in 2035.
Right.
Yeah,
it's going to be a hell of a mystery.
I'm intrigued for the cast, because the cast was so strong last movie, and it kind of sucks that we can't have that same cast. Like, even it wouldn't make sense to bring any of them back. Obviously, it's a new mystery, or even the detectives like Keith Stanfield. Like, they're not going to be detectives in whatever state they're in the next case or country the next case is in.
Right. Yeah, that is a good point. Hopefully there's some good local police in this next one. I like that. Mm-hmm. That Stanfield wasn't a thorn in the side of Daniel Craig. You know,
that's a big thing in Criminal Minds.
Right, they're working together.
Yeah,
he's like, clearly this guy's a world famous detective, and I'm Lakeith Stanfield. I'm also very good, but not as good as him.
These are hard to write too. These murder mysteries, trying to keep them intriguing, fresh. Try to stay away from the obvious twist.
Right. That's the thing with this. Operating in this space, it's very easy to fall into the cliches or get twist happy. I think Rian Johnson, that's the staple of his career, is that he dissects genres.
Because it wasn't like surprising that, I'll try not to spoil it, even though the movie's been out, that the villain was the the person who did it was who.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
The guy that you would think is the villain. That's normally he's presented as a red herring.
But the way they did it and got there was very
because the
very
victim
smart.
was in on it.
Yeah.
Right. They presented as this cliche, we're going to frame the maid and then the fortune's going to me. But then you realize Christopher Plummer, he had something to say about that. So them getting to that point of her getting the happy ending that we all wanted was clever. It was definitely clever.
Pick 3 actors you want to see.
Jesse Plemons would be my first. Peter Dinklage. Stephen Yeun.
That's actually, I was going to say that too, obviously, because of Invincible. But,
Invincible's got a hell of a cast. Just pick from Invincible.
I know. J.K. Simmons would be fun. I think he would work well in the Rian Johnson script.
Seth Rogen, maybe?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought he was very good in Jobs.
Was it Jobs? I always get those two confused.
I think his may be Steve Jobs. And then Jobs is the Ashton Kutcher one.
Sucks here to use Michael Shannon. I love Michael Shannon. Did you see
you want some more cookies, you?
Did you see
Have some more cookies.
Someone tweeted a video of him talking about Mark Rylance.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And his Oscar, that's funny.
Yeah. He is the best.
Let's go with Amy Adams, Idris Elba, and...
I know you're a big Kevin Spacey.
J.K. Simmons. Fuck you.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
He is so good as Omni-Man. That was a very good casting. Just got the best voice. Yeah, Knives Out 2 and 3. Good for you, Rian Johnson. Glad you got a winner here. Speaking of castings, our next story is about the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus releasing their cast list, and it's star-studded. Of course, you got Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, Hayden Christensen returning as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. You also have Joel Edgerton returning as Uncle Ben.
Yeah, people forget that.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. And Kumail Nanjiani has been announced. O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sun Khan, Benny Safdie is going to be in it as well.
That's awesome.
Moses Ingram, Bonnie Piesse, and Indira Varma, an actress that we actually already talked about, being rumored to appear in the Obi-Wan series.
This is a good cast.
Good cast, yeah.
Really good cast. Maybe
Sung Kang, you don't really see him in much. He's the dude from the Fast and Furious franchise. He dies, and then he comes back. It's in Tokyo Drift.
Which takes place...
Don't ask. It's number 2. No, number 3, actually.
No, it's a good cast. I'm hopeful for this series. I think that there's been a weird kind of development, right? Because it got announced, and it wasn't happening. Then it got officially announced. So
no, yeah, it's something that's been rumored for years, and like you said, it was announced as a movie and then a show, and then it's not happening, and now it is. Yeah, it's very weird.
No, I'm looking forward to this a lot. I wonder what they're gonna delve into. Joel Edgerton obviously has gotten much bigger since his role in Revenge of the Sith, right? That was the only one he was in.
Revenge of the Sith
or Attack of the Clones. Was he in both?
Oh shit, I think he was in both. Yeah. He is in Attack of the Clones when they have dinner, and then Anakin goes and massacres the Sand People. Yeah,
wow. Yeah, I just wonder, like, I really don't know too much about Obi-Wan in those times between. Like, I've watched some videos of Clone Wars and things like that. I don't really know too much that's going on with him, so I'm intrigued just to see where that is. And Hayden Christensen, we've wanted to see him back in this role for a long time, and we know how he wasn't the best actor, but a lot of that had to do with script, so it's nice to see him to get another chance at that, especially now that people have a better appreciation for the prequels now, it seems.
Yeah.
And that character, so... And no matter how bad that character is, he's still one of my favorite characters. So I really am interested to see him in that role, whether it be flashbacks or him in the suit, him outside of the suit, but still like looking all decrepit and whatnot.
This series is interesting because it's taking place in a time period where there's not much information between these two movies, especially when it comes to the Obi-Wan character, because the novel that takes place between 3 and 4 is Legends. So they're starting basically from scratch, but we know where this is heading, where Obi-Wan is eventually going to die. He's going to be killed by Darth Vader. So it's interesting that you're bringing back characters that we know, but the time period is so unexplored that you have the possibility, you have the chance here to introduce us to new characters, to create new personalities within the Star Wars universe. And that to me is always one of, if not the most important element of Star Wars, creative characters, unique characters, kooky characters, memorable characters. That's what you need. And when you get a cast list like this with so many different styles and types of actors coming from different genres and types of film, it's a good sign.
Is this
and
limited?
Like you said, we just don't know what it's going to be.
Do we know if it's limited or?
I think it is supposed to be limited. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's supposed to. I don't know for sure, but I don't know if it's going to continue on to season 2 and 3. And I'm going to say it again. I've said it before. Killing off Maul in the Clone Wars or in Rebels, even though the scene is great, I think it's a mistake because you could have put him right here. Like Maul could have been in the middle of this, and as much as we want to see Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin and Darth Vader, that's going to be great to see. I think it should have been Maul. I think it would. You had more opportunities with Maul because you don't have that definitive ending like you do with Darth Vader. You know where Darth Vader has to end up. As good as their fight is going to be, maybe there's some repercussions, some personal loss at the cost of their rematch here, but we'll see.
I need to grasp my lightsaber. It's my lifesaver.
Oh no. Lightsaber and lifesaver.
The Force gets too strong when I'm alone, but I gotta keep going. I gotta find my home.
That was actually a bar, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Because I thought you were going to rhyme going, but you went back to home.
Yeah.
Force when I'm all alone, gotta keep going till Yeah, by the end of this pod, you're going to have a record deal. Let's go to fan questions.
Alrighty.
Fan question theme.
Dun 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 dun. Fan questions. Fan questions.
You never listened up until this point, have you?
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
This question here from @AwakeningBeauty_. Why do you think that there's such strong division between what the majority of critics will call real cinema and casual cinema? What are your definitions? I recognize technical and analytical criticisms of Marvel movies, but overall I think they're good films and have value.
I don't know. I kind of hate when people say that, like something's not cinema, because, I mean, it's really
said.
All is cinema.
Right.
When you think about it. But I guess it's like kind of the prestige, more, more Oscar-type films that get that cinema tag, you know? The deeper movies, I guess. And I guess, like, if your movie has some comedy or has a high budget, it's not considered pure cinema or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all subjective, right?
Yes. But I do think that there are people out there that believe that the genres are limited, that some of these subgenres are limited. And the Marvel movies obviously are some of the most popular in the world, but they're also very critically acclaimed.
Well, it's something like Godzilla versus Kong. Is that cinema? But you could say like the finale, like the final fight sequence, is kind of cinematic.
Right. Well, there's an idea that a movie like that, like you said, it's all subjective, but that would fall into the realm of not real cinema. It's not The Godfather. It's not a movie like Brie Larson's Room, The Irishman, movies like that some people feel like dramas. That a well-directed, well-put-together genre is always going to have more inherent value than a movie like Captain America Civil War, no matter how good it is. I don't agree with that. I think there are cinephiles out there who are like that, and they take it even further. I talk about this all the time when you on blogs talking about best international filmmakers, they hate Spielberg. There's a large percentage of cinephiles that don't like Spielberg whatsoever. So it's not even like the Marvel or the superhero movies. It's just action movies in general. Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones. It gets to that territory as well. It's not a conversation that just started with Marvel, but a lot of the cinephiles I follow that I enjoy following like everything.
Yeah.
I find that with most film buffs, if it's a good movie, it's a good movie.
Right.
There are different types of 10 out of 10s, but every genre you can achieve a masterpiece. That you can achieve true genius, even if the genre is superhero films or horror. It doesn't matter. There's a way where you can get to a 10 out of 10 Godzilla versus Kong, where it transcends the genre, where it's like, okay, this is not just a great action movie, it's just a great, all-time great movie.
Yeah. You like Mission Impossible Fallout, right?
Right.
That's a 10 out of 10 action movie. And I think some people might not view it at the same level as other movies because it is an action movie.
Right.
And I don't get that.
No, people just because something is, I don't want to say simple, but people have this idea that it's action. Anybody can do it. But how many action movies do we see that are just terrible?
Look at horror genre. I think that's the best case of it.
Right. Where you get the best and the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think people are, like you said, at the end of the day, it is all subjective. But I always cringe when someone tells me Marvel, they don't make real movies.
I was watching Infinity War too. I kind of skipped ahead on the Revisited. Whew, that's cinema.
Yeah, that is fucking cinema, man. This question here from Calvin and Hobbs. Have you guys heard of the series The Wheel of Time? It's like a crossover between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, to oversimplify. Rosamund Pike will be the lead. Any interest in checking it out? Season 1 filming is wrapping up this month. Wheel of Time is a series that was pushed on me by a coworker for a long time. And I told her, listen, I'm not reading 12 books. I don't care that you've owned them. I don't care that you're going to lend them to me. I'm not reading 12 books. I hear it's very good, though.
I've never heard of it.
It's long as fuck. It's a fantasy series. I forget the author, but it was finished by somebody else because it's so fucking long. He passed away before he could finish it. Another writer took over, I'm pretty sure. This has potential, according to a lot of our fans. And Rosamund Pike, hell of a lead.
What's it on?
I want to say it's on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good actress. I don't really know much about the source material, but
I don't know jack about the source material.
Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings mix is kind of neat.
Yeah, I think that the magic is Lord of the Rings-esque, but the narrative and politics are similar to Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Way more detailed, but magic in the forefront.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out,
Yeah.
without a doubt. This question here from Fuck Sergio, at iSergio. Wow.
He's Sergio.
Yeah.
And
plot twist.
fuck Sergio.
Yeah. Guy's got a little dual personality going on here. If you could replace Marvel heroes with Seinfeld characters, who would they be? For example, Kramer being Hulk because of the meltdown at the Laugh Factory.
I'll take a stanza as Hulk. I feel like that'd be funny.
Anytime he's just annoyed,
Yeah.
inconvenienced, he turns into the fucking Hulk. Jerry Seinfeld. He's the leader. Funny guy. He's Cap?
I guess if he's the leader.
Yeah, I guess maybe he would be Cap.
I guess. Who would Kramer be?
Kramer's Thor. He's always electrocuting himself. That's why his hair is all crazy.
Giddy up. Yeah, that's a good one.
And Elaine is obviously Black Widow.
Yeah, that's a fucking squad right there. We got let's round out the original.
We still have Hawkeye. That's Newman. Nobody likes him. And Larry David's Nick Fury.
Yeah, who's Iron Man?
We still don't have an Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Bryan Cranston's dentist.
So. No, Mr. Bookman actually.
Okay. He's no business, man. That's Alexander Pierce.
Yeah, Mr. Bookman. Mr. Bookman's Loki.
That episode is so funny that Jerry laughs, I think, maybe twice, just with Bookman going off on him.
That might be the best.
Can't hold it.
I think that's the best scene in Seinfeld history. I also love the pouch envy.
Okay.
You ever hear the kangaroos? Like,
yeah.
The male kangaroo is probably like, "Where's my pouch? I got things to hold." He's got pouch envy.
That show is fucking genius. This question here from William Hall at Will H687. What are some of the less iconic scenes or performances from Game of Thrones which impacted you? One of mine is the Hound in the cave with the Brotherhood, saying, "I never touched the Targaryen babes. I never saw them, never smelt them, never heard them bawling." That is a great scene. He's got so many. I mean, I think the chicken scene is iconic, so I won't make that my pick, but it's like, you're going to die over some chickens. Somebody is. But the one that always sticks with me is when Olenna and Tywin are discussing Cersei and Loras' marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The scenes between those two characters were always great, but that's one that I always go back and watch because it's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The two heavyweights of the world. Two of the most powerful figures just trading verbal barbs. Doesn't get better than that.
Well, for those performances, I don't think Natalie Dormer gets enough credit for her performance as Marjorie. I think she's one of the better characters later on in the show.
Yeah, she is.
And her dynamic with Cersei is amazing.
No, her dynamic in it's mostly season 3 and 4.
4 and 5 maybe,
because season 3 is when it's building up to the manipulation of Joffrey, right? That's when she really starts to shine as a character.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really hear her name in many projects. I thought for a time there, appearing in the Hunger Games, she led some other franchises, that she would become one of these breakout stars from the show.
She was in Captain America, First Avenger.
Right, yeah. She almost fucking fucks it up with Peggy for him.
Yeah.
She smooches him. She's always trying to...
Imagine having that choice, Natalie Dormer or Haley Atwell.
That's the perks of being Captain America, right?
That's true.
Comes with the job.
Yeah, so I think her performance is underrated because I think she was...
Imagine he went back in time to go stay with Natalie Dormer. What an asshole. Peggy's like, Steve, you're back. It's like, yeah, I'm looking for Natalie Dormer.
Who else?
Well, one scene, once again, I don't think this scene has become iconic, but it's a scene that I always just sing to myself. Bronn in the Dornish cells. Glad we got that out of Dorne.
I think an underrated scene, actually, because of how bad how the reception to the finale was I think the conversation between Jon and Tyrion.
Yes.
They do, like, kind of get, like, I don't like the way it turned out, but of, like, what their decision, like, if they made the right decision and things like that. I think it's actually a very good scene.
It is. I think a lot of the Tyrion scenes stand out in Season 8, and that's among the better ones. The writing there is really great. It's just a shame that the lead up to that, Daenerys destroying the city, if that was better, then that scene is even better. That was the case with Season 8 overall. People who say that it's garbage are just ridiculous. There are a lot of good things about it. It's disappointing, underwhelming, I think, overall, but there are still a lot of gems, and that's definitely one of them. This question here, another HBO question from David at Hilo the Warrior. Why do you think that HBO can't end a show well? The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, etc. Is it them or just crazy fans' opinions? I think the Sopranos ending.
Well, I think it's a thing
is
of
something that Game of Thrones wishes they had now.
Yeah. I think it's more of a case of HBO having the best shows, and with that becomes more popularity and more people guessing and theorizing of what's going to happen, which ultimately leads to people being disappointed, no matter which way it goes. It's not, I mean, obviously different writers, different directors, it's not HBO, but it's more of just them giving the platform for some of the best shows that for a lot of times it's hard to have that Breaking Bad type perfect finale.
Yeah, I don't even think that's an HBO problem. I think it's
a television problem.
Yeah, I think it's a problem that all networks have. Most shows, I mean, how many times do you watch a show and it just fizzles out? You always hear it. It's not like it was in season 1 and 2.
And people say 6 Feet Under has one of the best finales of all time.
Right, I was just going to say that. The finale for The Wire, I think, is a good finale.
But more often than not, we talk about bad TV finales because it's hard to stick the landing.
It's almost impossible. I was thinking about Westworld the other day. Talk about a season 1. And already in season 3, it doesn't even resemble itself. Like two completely different shows.
Yeah, well, that's just the way like the story went. I feel like they finished their story in season 1.
Would have been a perfect miniseries masterpiece if not for them continuing. This question here from Adriana Carla at Pinstriped Diva. Ooh, Yankee fan. Shout out. Which MCU movie has the most rewatchability? Well, you said you recently rewatched Infinity War, and that would be my pick. I could throw that movie on at any time. Having the knowledge of the previous movies, watching my man Josh Brolin as Thanos. Ooh!
Yeah.
Just that opening scene of Ebony Maw just letting them all know, you're in trouble. It's over. Big Daddy T's here.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, that one. Guardians, I think, is probably the best. Like, it's just so fun every time you rewatch it. And I think it's probably the easiest rewatch. And it's one of my, it's, top 3 for me, top 2 in an MCU. I think movies like that, Thor Ragnarok, are kind of like, they still have that epicness, but there's so much more going on where it's funny. It's just a lot of fun. So those are the easiest to rewatch for me.
Yeah, definitely. The funnier ones are Thor Ragnarok, without a doubt, because so many of those fucking jokes land. This question here from BCM Reviews at BCM_reviews. Would you guys ever revisit the Batman Arkham series? Maybe.
Those games were a lot of fun to play.
That would be a hell of a Patreon request. Ooh, that would just make my day.
Would it?
Yeah. Why? For you, it wouldn't?
It's a lot. It's time consuming.
One. Not the whole franchise. Come on.
The first game? First game's the worst one.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'd say Arkham City. That's in my own fantasy where somebody pledges $50 for the Patreon. They ask me to. They say, "Hey, I know there's 4 games in the franchise, but I only want you to review Arkham City."
Don't do Arkham Knight. I don't want to play those tanks again.
Those tank missions.
And the fucking Riddler.
Well, that's all of them.
I know, but the last one in particular, I had to get those just to beat the fucking piss out of him.
This question here from Nelly at Culenhall: Can you pronounce Worcestershire?
Worcestershire?
Worcestershire.
The sauce, right?
I think so, yeah.
Worcestershire sauce.
There's your answer, Aaron Ken. I could not.
I could be wrong.
I don't like these can you pronounce things. They make me so insecure. No, I can't pronounce anything. PronounceNames.com. That's
took me like
it's my second most used website after WebMD.
Manga still confuses me because I read it like manga. Then I think of Jenga, and I'm pulling these blocks.
This question here from Cooper Hudson at Cooper_Hudson. If they stick the landing, where do you see Attack on Titan ranking in comparison to Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, or some of the all-time great TV shows?
I like that, kind of putting it in the same class as other shows, not just anime.
Yeah, this is kind of what we talked about with the whole casual versus real cinema. Can a show like Attack on Titan be considered a real show like Breaking Bad? And I think it will. Yeah, I think. Well, I've read a bit ahead. I've decided to read the manga. I've gone past manga, and I think they're about to stick this fucking landing, man. I think they're about to stick this fucking landing. That's all I'll say. So, and if they do, we've talked about this, and I hear it from so many of my friends who like anime, who watch anime, and of course there are people out there that don't love Attack on Titan. All popular franchises are hated, but
where does it rank?
Consensus seems to be that it is, if they stick this landing up until this point, it's a masterpiece. It's the meme. It's the 4-season horse that's drawn perfectly. Yeah, so you would have to put it top 5 animes of all time. And I think most avid anime fans would put it up there. And just for all-time shows, like I said, it's the best war drama possibly ever.
Yeah.
I still need to see Band of Brothers.
If it does stick the landing, it's, basically it's a masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
So of course you could put it up in there. I think I'm going to read.
Yeah, man, it's getting sticky.
How much longer do you think the season's going to be then? Like, is it going to be an actual season? Like, multiple double-digit episodes?
No, I think it's going to be the same. I think it will be like another, 10 to 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit shorter. I'm not so sure on how many episodes are in each season. Final question here from Julio PDX at Julio_PDX. Thoughts on Invincible? Have you guys checked it out? Winky face? Yes, we have. And we talked about this on the top of the pod, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see where the fuck this show is going. I'm going to a little spoilers here.
Yeah, it's the end of the pod, so if you haven't seen it yet, just turn it off.
Yeah, just turn off the pod. With Omni-Man killing off the Guardians of the Globe, obviously it was shocking, to say the least. I kind of anticipated it because I read about this series years ago, so in the back of my mind I knew it was R-rated, and obviously it has the R rating there. So I knew something crazy was going to happen, but we had the demon detective voiced by Mr. Krabs trying to crack this plot. I'm like, yo, what's his deal? Is it as simple as he's just an alien invader and this is what he was assigned to do? Like, come to the planet from Vitrium, right? That's where they're from.
Seth Rogen's character was hilarious, by the way.
That shit was so funny, man. That was really funny. That's why I said Seth Rogen for Knives Out, because I just watched that.
I mean, he has times where he's like a good father, and sometimes he snaps with his family, but
he seems caught.
Yeah.
I feel like he's caught between responsibilities here. And we've seen a lot of shows recently. Not a lot, but this idea of evil Superman in The Boys, in Zack Snyder's, Superman visions. So once again, we're seeing it with Omni-Man. So
Brightburn,
right. Well, yeah. And of course, this also reminded me of My Hero Academia, focusing on the young hero who is trying to fill the shoes of the world's greatest. And, this time they're blood related, so it makes it even more personal. But, yeah, I'm just so intrigued by the mystery. And I love the world. I love all the characters so far.
I like Robot. He's up to something.
No, he's not. He's just trying to do his job.
He let go of the Mauler twins.
Have you been able to pick up on the celebrities?
The voices?
Yeah.
I hit pause every now and then
Yeah.
just to check because Amazon shows you.
That's a nice feature.
Yeah.
They need that feature and all. My only nitpick would be, and this is a nitpick just with Hollywood in general, the celebrities in voiceover roles. You could just tell when it's a veteran voice actor like a Clancy Brown voicing the Demon or Mark Hamill voicing the costume guy. There's a difference there. They're creating a voice for their characters. There's more.
Who does Mark Hamill voice?
The guy who creates the costumes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, exactly. You don't hear Mark Hamill. You hear a voice.
Uh-huh.
You hear a new character. I think that's why people praise Bradley Cooper so much for Guardians, because you hear it, you're like, that's not Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Well, the guy who cheats on the girl. His
right.
voice, he's the Parks and I know.
Perfume guy. Right.
I forget his name, but like I knew right away, like that's him.
There are certain actors that have such distinct voices that they work in voiceover roles, like a J.K. Simmons. That's kind of just the perfect voice.
I think Sandra Oh does a great job. I think Steven Yeun does good as a character. I really can't, and J.K. It's an iconic voice, but it fits the character as well.
Right. And that is the end of the Nerd Soup podcast. Finally.
Well, look at that. It's finally over.
Yeah, that's the ending. Yeah, well, you're gonna record one soon, so we're whipping up a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're getting those Patreon requests out of the way, and we've got a whole slate of new ones, man.
Oh, God.
All right, guys. See you next week. Thanks. Watch, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Peace. Well, would you look at that? It's finally over. Hey guys, Bo Oliver here for one final send-off. Now, before I beg you guys to like and share this video, I'd like to thank our very special Patreon pledgers. We are very proud of the community we've been able to build here at Nerd Soup, and it would not have been possible without our Patreon supporters. You guys are the true MVPs of this channel. Everything I've said, you keep the fridge full, you keep the lights on. There aren't enough words to thank you guys, but we'll do it anyway. Thank you. And we have a few videos coming up that have been suggested to us by Patreon pledgers. My Hero Academia, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Full Metal Alchemist will be reviewed by Marissa and yours truly, and Castlevania, which will be reviewed by Marissa and Aaron. And if you'd like to consider donating to our Patreon page, you can visit patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out some of the rewards we offer to our listeners. And really, we'd like to thank everyone who takes the time out of their day to watch our videos. Patreon pledger or not, your support is what keeps us motivated to keep giving the world our opinions on movies and TV shows and video games and pop culture, even though no one asked for it. We're still here, we're still yapping, and we hope you continue to join us. I'm Bo Oliver, and I support this message.